Behind me is the 2023 Nissan Leaf, and in this video, I'm going to show you something that Nissan doesn't put in the manual about charging the Nissan Leaf, so stay tuned. When I first got the Nissan Leaf, I'm one of those individuals who actually reads the manual. So I read through the entire manual, and one of the things I was specifically interested in is how to increase the battery life of the Nissan Leaf. I was also interested in how much range we would be able to add using the level 1, the level 2, and the level 3 DC fast charging. And in the manual, there's nothing about that. In fact, if you read through it, it just simply says that there's a warranty on the battery, and if the battery fails for some reason or doesn't have a specific amount of battery life, they'll replace it under warranty. Otherwise, essentially, it says just follow good battery habits. Well, what does that mean? And so I'm going to walk you through the 3 different types of charging that we have available for the Nissan Leaf, and what you should consider when using it and how to use it at your house and just living with it daily. And then we're going to take you out and fast charge it. And then I'm going to show you how to extend the life of your battery. So stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss it, and it's not in the manual. So here in the manual, it talks about the 3 different types of charging. They call it normal charging, trickle charging, and quick charging. It says Nissan recommends normal charging for usual charging of the vehicle. Use of quick charge should be minimized in order to help prolong the life of the battery. So i.e., don't DC fast charge it every single day. It says trickle charging. Trickle charging is not recommended for regular use because it takes more time than normal charging. Trickle charging can be used in an emergency to perform emergency charge tests at a destination or at a friend's house if you need to. So essentially, trickle charging, they're calling the 110, and then the normal charge, they're calling the 220, and then the quick charge, they're calling the DC fast charging. So quick charge capability is only available with vehicles manufactured with the quick charge option, i.e. the CHAdeMO port. And the second line here is, I think, is really interesting. So it says for the 60 kilowatt battery, which this one is, this vehicle is equipped with a quick charge port, which with most CHAdeMO, the Japanese industry standard connectors, on charging stations. Charging stations or V2X discharging devices using this standard are UL certified and safe to use in the US. While supported by Nissan, this connector may not become the US SAE standard. V2X charging and discharging is possible even if several times a day. So they're just saying, hey, CHAdeMO, Nissan's already acknowledging here in the manual that CHAdeMO isn't going to be the standard. But hey, it's still out there. Typically at Electrify America, there are about 1, sometimes 2 CHAdeMO ports to charge, and we'll show you exactly what that's like. So, but here in the manual, it says nothing about time. It doesn't tell us how much time we get, and that's really key because you want to know if you're going to charge up your car, you want to know how long it's going to take. And if you come home and you need to go a specific destination, you want to know how far you're going to be able to get. So we're going to find out. So we'll go here to the 110 and we'll show you exactly what that looks like, and then we'll walk you through the fast charging. We'll plug it into our dryer outlet and we'll see exactly what sort of charge we get in 1 hour. So let's now use the level 1 charger that's included with the Nissan Leaf to see what sort of charge we get over the course of 1 hour. So the Nissan Leaf has a mobile connector that comes with the car, and it has a place that you can actually store it in the back of the trunk. So let's go ahead and get it out. We're working with. So here's the mobile connector. It's a heavy thing, and it has 2 different connectors on the end. So one, you can use your dryer plug, your NEMA 1450, or it comes with this little adapter and the 15 amp. So let's go ahead and get this set up and let's charge the car. We'll get a reading at our beginning charge and then a reading at the end of when we charge for 1 hour. So let's go get things plugged up. So go ahead and take the mobile connector and we're going to plug it into the outlet over there on the wall. Get it to charge. So the first thing we need to do is pop the front charger. Next thing we'll do is we'll get a reading. So it looks like we're currently sitting at 33%. And so I'll mark the time on my watch, but 33% is the current state of charge. So we'll go around to the front, open the charge port, charge hatch. And then we'll open the J1772 plug. We'll go over here to the charging cord, and you'll see we have it plugged in. It says ready. And we've got this nifty little NEMA 1450 plug. Go ahead and just stretch this out. So the timer is set up on the Leaf, so it will only charge during those times. We'll be using the level 1 15 amp charger. So the first thing you'll notice is while the Leaf is charging, there are these indicator lights on the dash. There are 3 bars, and it's actually a pretty nifty thing that you can look through. And each one of those corresponds to the percentage of the battery that's full. The lowest one being 1/3, the second one being 2/3, and the third one being 3/3 or full. And so you can see here on and we'll go in. Right now the battery is charging up. The first bar, 33% is full, and it's filling up in between 33 and 66%. So right now the car is charging on our level 1, which is our 110 wall connector. And after 1 hour, we're going to show you exactly how much charge you get when you use a level 1 wall connector. Next, we'll take the included mobile connector that comes from Nissan. We'll plug it into our dryer outlet, i.e. a NEMA 1450 plug, and we'll see exactly how much range we get in 1 hour using a level 2 charger or a 220 amp or 220 volt outlet at the house. So you can kind of get an idea of how much range you get with a 110, how much range you'll get with a 220, and then I'll show you at the end of the video exactly how much range you get DC fast charging. And stay tuned to the very end because I know you're not going to want to miss it. There is a great tip and a great hack that I found that will greatly extend the battery life of the 2023 Nissan Leaf, so stay tuned. So the Nissan Leaf just completed the level 1 1-hour charging test. I'm getting ready to show you how much charge we got in 1 hour, and the results are going to blow your mind. So as you can see here, the little status indicator light is off. The wall connector is just now green. 35%. So we started at 33 and we went to 35%. So 2% an hour using the trickle charger. So we're here in the laundry room, and we're going to show you how to charge using the level 2 charger of the Nissan Leaf. So you can see this is our dryer outlet. So we've unplugged our dryer, and we have this cord here from Evannex, and it simply takes that outlet and changes it to the NEMA 1450 plug. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in. And you can see we've got the blue lights. And then I'm going to unplug the mobile connector here, and I'm going to need to set this down and show you how this works. So the mobile connector has this little 110 adapter and these 2 little plugs on the end. You unplug it, and then there's the plug. So we're going to take and we're going to plug this mobile connector in. And as you can see, we now have power. And then let's take the charging end of the cord and let's go ahead and plug it into the Nissan Leaf. We've got stretched out the door. Hopefully no one needs to do laundry. So currently we're sitting at 36%. If you remember, we just unplugged and we were sitting at 35%. So who knows what's going on there, but we'll go ahead and dive into it, and we'll call it 36%, and we'll show you exactly here at 8:20. We'll come back at 9:20, and we'll see exactly what our state of charge ends up being and how much charge we get over that time period, so that way you can know how much time you want to charge your battery. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. And we have success. We're level 2 charging the Nissan Leaf using a little pigtail that I picked up from Evannex. I'll put the link in the description. And we're level 2 charging the 2023 Nissan Leaf. We'll report back in 1 hour and let you know what sort of charge we end up with. Well, the hour is up and the level 2 charging is complete. Let's take a look and see what sort of charge we ended up with using the level 2 mobile connector. We started with 36% and we went to 48%. So for those of you, 12% an hour. So we went from 2 to 3% an hour using the level 1 connector, plugging into the 110 outlet, and then plugging into the dryer outlet, we went to 12% an hour. So pretty cool, pretty quick. Well, hey, you join us in the cockpit of the 2023 Nissan Leaf, and we are going to see what it's like to fast charge a Nissan Leaf using CHAdeMO. So I'm going to show you a couple of things that I found a little interesting about this. So we live here in Dayton. Let's go on the car's user interface, and one would think if you were going to look for charging, you might go to Maps, and then you might go to Point of Interest, and you'll see coffee shop, fast food, gas station, all categories, spell name. Again, nothing about charging. And if we go to all categories, healthcare, leisure, fast food, automotive, nothing about charging. So how do you find charging? Well, you go to Info, EV Info, and then Nearby Stations. The interesting thing about this is it does not list Electrify America. And I happen to know there's an Electrify America about 20 minutes away. So here in the charger, for whatever reason, they don't list Electrify America. They list EVgo and then some of the other level 2 chargers in and around the area. So Mason, Westchester, those are all 30, 40 minutes south of us. So really crazy about the Leaf. But we're going to go ahead and get our destination put in using Google Maps. We'll get up to the destination and I'll walk you through what it's like to fast charge, and we'll see firsthand what we can charge this Nissan Leaf to. So we're going to go ahead and put our Electrify America destination into Google Maps, and you'll see here where it's at in conjunction with our current location. We'll go ahead and hit directions, and it will go ahead and route us from our current location. Got about a 28-minute drive, and before we do that, let's go ahead and open up the Electrify America app. This way we can see what sort of station it is and how much the current usage is at the station. You see right now when we click it, it says 1 of 6 available, and it lists the different cabinets and the different charging types. So we obviously need to go to charger level 1, which has our CHAdeMO station. Let's drive there. Well, we are just pulling into the Electrify America station. We have 31 miles left at a 13% state of charge. So we'll just kind of walk you through what it's like pulling into the Electrify America station. Yep, there's the blue CHAdeMO. And the screen is on. Let's see what we can do. Park, turn the car off. We're going to open the charging port, and we'll report back here in a second. So we plugged it in. Now it's going to ask us to activate. I'm going to use my phone. So to charge your car, you launch the Electrify America app. It'll default to the closest location. You go ahead and select that location, and then you select the charging cabinet which you are on, and then you simply swipe to charge, and then initializes the charge. So we selected cabinet number 1, we swipe to charge, and here it thinks a little bit, and in a second we should have charging success. And it looks like we have success, so we're charging. at 31 cents a kilowatt. We've got the red light in. So we'll report back at 5:12, exactly 30 minutes, and see how long the Leaf takes to charge and how much we get here using Electrify America's DC fast charging. And we'll go from there. Thanks for tuning in. Well, we have just about hit the 30-minute mark, so let's get out and let's see what we're working with here. And this is a busy charging station and a rotten day for it, so it looks like right now we are charging at exactly 22 kilowatts, and we've hit the 30 minutes of charging, so let's go ahead and stop. So we've stopped charging. It looks like our vehicle's being unplugged. Take a look at the data, you can see it. And then let's go ahead and unplug. So, and this sucker is heavy. Well, let's see what we got. What our state of charge. We turn the Leaf on, and we are sitting at 52%. Wow, that is big. Well, that is pretty remarkable. 30 minutes of DC fast charging using Electrify America in the Nissan Leaf. It actually was much easier than I anticipated. I think the only thing that I'm concerned with the Leaf is what you see in front of us. So they have 6 cabinets, and only one of those, and it's the one on the far end that has the CHAdeMO adapter. All of the other ones are CCS2, which is the common standard here in the US. So I think that's the one thing the state of charge, so 30 minutes, we went from 12% to 52%, so 40% exactly on the dot. We'll do the whole math when we get back to the house, but there you have it. DC charging a Nissan Leaf, and the battery didn't blow up. And I think the other thing that's kind of interesting is you hear about heat. So let me just, the Leaf's battery did warm up just a little bit, but really it never got anywhere close. But again, we drove it for about 30-45 minutes getting up here, and then you can see the ambient temperature outside is 48 degrees that day. I think it was 100 degrees in the Mojave Desert, and you've driven about 2 hours with the air conditioning on. This could be really difficult and hard on the battery, but at least for us right now, 30 minutes of DC fast charging. The Nissan Leaf was a non-event. Lithium-ion batteries are great, but they have one Achilles heel, and that is when they are discharged very low, and stored at a low state of charge, or they are stored at 100% constantly. And over time, the battery will actually lose capacity. So one way that you can maximize the life of any lithium-ion battery is limit the number of times that it's charged to 100% and just sits there. Most vehicles today, Ford, Tesla, Hyundai, Kia, etc., all have a feature like the Tesla here where you can set the maximum state of charge. There's simply a slider on the user interface or in the app where you can say, I want it to charge up to 70%, anywhere between 50 and 100%. And there's a little indicator that says trip, and that means only charge it up to 100% when you're going on a trip. Well, it's become pretty apparent through numerous sources on the internet that charging up to 80% is a key thing to keep the health of your battery and to keep it lasting for a long period of time. Tesla, it's very easy. Well, it's not so much with the Nissan Leaf. So how on earth do you manage charging 80% when there's no ability in the user interface to charge up to 80%? I'm actually going to show you how to do that. So if Nissan doesn't include the ability to set the maximum state of charge, how on earth do you charge your Nissan Leaf up to 80% or for whatever desired state of charge for that matter? Well, Nissan didn't, I don't really know why they didn't do this, but they include a thing called a timer. So let me show you how this works. And this just requires a little bit of arithmetic. The first thing is to set your timer for the specific amount of time you want it to charge. Well, in this case, we have it set to charge from 7:10 tonight to 8:10 tonight because we're doing a 1-hour charge on the 110 outlet. So right now the car is sitting at 35% and we want to charge it to 80. We know our wall connector charges at a rate of 11% per hour. So we simply divide 45%, the difference between our current state of charge, 35%, and the desired, 80%, by 11. And that gets us to 4.09. So it's going to take 4 hours and call it 0.09% of 60. And so that's about 5 minutes. So it's going to take 4 hours and 5 minutes to get up to 80%. So we would simply set the timer, in this case, for 4 hours and 10 minutes, because it goes in these increments of about 10 or 20 minutes. And we would just plug it in and make sure that it starts charging. And then we'd come back in the morning and the car would be sitting at the desired state of charge around 80%. Again, it's not quite as easy as the Tesla where you just slide the screen back, the limit back and forth, but in this case, it's pretty simple. So we can do the same thing with the level 1, the level 2 charger. So earlier this evening, we went to the Electrify America station and we DC fast charged. We got there with 12% and we charged for exactly 30 minutes and we left with 52%. And I'll show you on the screen exactly how much energy was delivered in that period of time. But overall, pretty easy, pretty simple to use. You have to have an Electrify America account and then link a credit card for payment. There are credit card readers at the station. I have seen folks use those before, but it just is simpler, in my opinion, to have the app so that way you can keep track and have a copy of the receipts. So 30 minutes at an Electrify America station netted us 40%, 12 to 52 in just 30 minutes. Now you remember, when lithium-ion batteries are at a low state of charge, they love lots of energy. They love lots of electricity and they charge fast. As they get to a higher state of charge, the charge rate diminishes. So as we were nearing the end, when we finished charging, we were charging at a rate of about 22 kilowatts. So not real fast, but for the Leaf, that's pretty quick. To put things in context, we recently did a road trip in the Tesla Model Y Performance, and we charged it over 250 kilowatts at the very beginning. But for this purpose, we were charging at 22 kilowatts. On the screen of the Electrify America station, it said for us to go starting at 12% to go all the way to 80%. It just randomly set that. It would have taken over 100 minutes. So to put that in context, the first 40% of the charge to go from 12 to 52 took 30 minutes. But what that's telling us is that as the state of charge of the battery increases, the charge rate is going to decrease. So Electrify America at our current charge rate was saying over 100 minutes to DC fast charge the Nissan Leaf. Now that may surprise you and that may seem like a long time, and you're absolutely right, which is why when we purchased this vehicle, we purchased it solely for around town. We knew that if we needed to, we could DC fast charge, but we never plan on this car going more than the rated 220 mile range. Why? Because we just needed a car for our kids to drive to and from home and school safely, efficiently, and with the latest safety features. So it was economical, it was cheap, it qualified for the tax credit, and charging at the house, how quickly it charges is irrelevant. So 99% of the charging we do with our Tesla and now with our Leaf is done right here at the house. And so very cheap, and time is not a factor. Just like you don't think about, well, how long does it take to charge your iPhone or your Samsung Galaxy? You don't think about that. You simply plug it up at night, or you plug it in the car, you throw it on the wireless charger. You don't think about it. And if you do need it in a pinch, you carry a little battery pack and you charge it up, or you carry a charger cord and you charge it up. The Leaf is no different. For us, we simply plan to use this car to commute locally around town. And for us, with my wife driving the kids to and from school, we only put on about 20 to 30 miles at most a day. And so we're able to go multiple days, typically 4 to 7 days on a single charge on the battery. Why is that? It's because we're not driving that far. And if we need to, we simply plug it up that night when we get home, and when we wake up, the battery is charged and we're ready to go. No more stopping at a gas station, no more messing around with gas or oil changes. It's that simple. Do I regret having an electric car? Absolutely not. We still have a minivan if we need to take a road trip and a large family vehicle, but we actually don't drive that most of the time. I drive the Tesla to and from work every day, and my wife drives the Leaf every day. My daughter will be turning 15, and so she'll start to learn to drive on this, and when she turns 16, this will be a vehicle for her to use to drive her to and from school and work. So hope this video helped you out. And the tip on the charging is to charge it to around 80%. That's the readily accepted principle to charge electric vehicle batteries. The manual says nothing about it, but again, it's not going to hurt. And to be honest, if you need to charge to 100%, go ahead and do it. Just don't let it sit real long. Plug it up, let it charge up to 100%, and then get in and drive it. So if you're going on a road trip and you need those extra miles. But I hope these tips and tricks helped you out with the Nissan Leaf. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you have an electric vehicle? Do you have a Leaf? And what do you think about charging it when you're out and about? Thanks so much for tuning in. It's your life. Make it a good one.